How is it going, everyone? It is time to talk about a topic that I am sure is going to be divisive towards people. I feel like whenever you also talk about AI, you are stepping into a bit of a landmine because people, when it comes to AI, have a little bit of a black and white approach. But also, how about AI to make games easier? I don't think this is that out of the realm of possibility, and given that Sony is filing patents regarding to that, this is something worthwhile to talk about. As noted on Video Games Chronicles, Sony AI patent will see PlayStation games play themselves when players are stuck. Now, I wouldn't imagine that this is just AI taking over you while you play a game, taking over your player character, I should say. While you're playing a game, I'm sure it would be an option if this is ultimately realized. Remember that Sony files a lot of patents, and whether or not things are realized, that is something that you'll see down the line. There have been several patents that have been filed that ultimately don't see the light of day, but it is interesting to assess that what PlayStation is potentially working on as far as future features go. Sony has patented a new technology that would see PlayStation games play themselves with the help of AI, and the idea would be it would help you progress through a section you're stuck at. As described in the patent documents, Ghost Player would see players call down an AI-generated ghost version of the player character, which could either play out the solution to a particular part of the level or complete it entirely. The patent was originally filed in September 2024, but the World Intellectual Property Organization published an international status report on the patent this week, so this has been in the works for quite a while. Now, the ghost mode would be something that would take over your player character, and then it could go through a section of the game for yourself. This is something that has been in games before as an accessibility option. I want to say Last of Us Part 1 had an optional feature in the game where you could literally skip any puzzle in the game. You just click skip puzzle and it would go right through it. Last of Us Part 1's puzzles are pretty straightforward, so I don't think that is something a lot of people utilize, but hey, if you want to utilize it, more power to you. I think when you add in the idea of this accessibility feature and the option of a game literally playing themselves, and then on top of that, you couple it with AI, this is immediately going to get a very, very negative reception. Now, I think that negative reception would be warranted if games were designed at a fundamental level to completely take advantage of this. As an option, I don't really think it's the end of the world, and I actually think it would be something that people would utilize in a game like, let's say, Alan Wake 2. If you look at Alan Wake 2 and the reception towards that game had some puzzles that were very convoluted, and I think, particularly with that game, people would use this feature to literally skip sections of the game when it came to puzzles. It playing itself while you could still take in the story of a game like Alan Wake 2, I feel like that would be kind of worthwhile, actually. And again, maybe it's rich coming from me as somebody that does celebrate games including easy modes, especially Souls-like games with First Berserker Kazan and Lies of P introducing an easy mode. Yeah, I am happy with that. Would I go the route of utilizing AI to beat a boss for me in a game? I probably wouldn't go that far. Look, there's things I will do if a game has an easy mode and I don't feel like a game being very difficult, then I'll play it on an easy mode. I don't think there's inherently anything wrong with offering people options. I'm even of the mindset that I know people like to have meltdowns over the yellow paint and things of that nature. I don't even really care that much about that. I know some people view it as immersion breaking and whatnot, but I think to help people guide them in the right direction, I do think it's worthwhile. I think the ideal way to do it would be something like Last of Us Part 1 and how it has a navigation mode and an option in the settings. I think having options is always a good thing because nobody's making you utilize the options. Ideally, something like a Ghost Player would be an option. That's why I don't really get the backlash towards games implementing easy modes. I don't get the backlash towards games having this feature or that feature as an option. Being able to tailor an experience the way you want to, because everybody wants to take in a game differently, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. At the end of the day, if a game is so infuriating that you do want to utilize a Ghost Player to do a section of the game for you, maybe at that point you could consider, that should be a game worth dropping, but at the same time, dude, games have convoluted puzzles all the time is there that big of a difference between implementing a ghost player and having a YouTube guide video up of a puzzle in Alan Wake 2 or this game or that game, and then following the guide itself? It's kind of just a streamlined way of doing that. Ultimately, you still control the game, but how you want to experience a game, if letting go of the control for a little bit and having this AI do this section of the game that you're stuck at, if it's a puzzle, some people might push back on that, but at the end of the day, if it's just an option and nobody is enforcing using these options, I think at the end of the day, it's fine. It's kind of like Elden Ring, where there's so many different ways to tackle the game, and I bring up Elden Ring because it's so fresh, because I've been playing it over the last couple of weeks. There are so many different options in playing that game that, yeah, you might get clowned on if you play the game like me with a mage build and you're just dunking on these bosses and you're a little over leveled, but it's an option, and it's an option I decided to utilize to make Elden Ring a little bit of an easier experience for me. Will I get clowned on it? Fine. Will you get clowned on it? Will you get clowned on if you use a ghost player to go through a puzzle of an Alan Wake 2 or a Resident Evil 2, for example? Probably. Probably people would clown on you, but at the end of the day, it's video games. It's not that big of a deal. The implementation of AI, I always think, is a slippery slope when it comes to games, but in something like this, where it's just being utilized as a function for more accessibility options and streamlining a game, I think what people have to remember when it comes to things like this, having something like a ghost player, people have a finite amount of time. If they're really stuck on a game, and it would be a streamlined way of getting through a section that's a puzzle or something like that, and I bring up Alan Wake 2 because that game's super fresh to me, and I was looking into that game while I was playing it, and there were sections and puzzles in that game that people in the comment sections of guide videos on YouTube were saying that they were stuck on this section for a week of. Imagine, like, just getting home and you're on a puzzle of a game and you just spend hours on it. Some people might find joy in that, but not everybody's gonna find joy in that, and if you can streamline it to a point where there's a ghost player that plays a section for you, what I don't like is ultimately if something like a ghost player is implemented, and that is implemented, what I would hate is for now people aren't looking up guides, because people doing guides and content on YouTube and creating guides, I feel like that's such a cool thing, and people figuring out games and doing their own guides, diluting that process and eliminating the necessity of that, I think that is unfortunate. It's much like how AI already, if you look something up, an issue of a game on Google, you'll have an AI generated response ready to go for you to figure something out. I would like for the content creators, the people that click or create the articles about doing sections in a game, and this goes for other tutorials and whatnot, to them be rewarded, for them to get the feedback, AI generating a response, and then ultimately the articles not being clicked on for these people that did work hard in creating these guides. I don't think that's fair. That's the issue with the ghost player that I have a problem with, because that would be taking money off the table of people that did work hard in creating guides. But something like a ghost player would streamline the experience. It's a catch-22 in that regard, but AI, that's something I've heard about with AI a lot. It has really eliminated for a lot of websites for people to go on those websites for tutorials and things like that, and that creates this avenue for passive viewers and passive clicks to come onto these websites because people are constantly looking up the guides, where AI is eliminating that. And it's a law of the game. You kind of just have to evolve with these new technologies being put in place, but that is the unfortunate aspect of this that I'm not crazy about. But as far as offering options for games to be more accessible, you guys know me. I'm all about that, and I like that in gaming. Easy modes, etc. You might think a ghost player is way too far, and I could totally understand that argument. You would have to think about the implementation of it and the effectiveness of it as well. And again, there are so many patents that are filed that ultimately don't see the light of day. This is one that, you know, very well might not see the light of day. And I wonder if just the idea of a game playing itself, that is getting too far. And I would hope that there would be a way for individual developers to opt out of something like this, like ghost player not being something that is unanimous in all games, because I don't think easy mode should be unanimous. Sure, me personally, I appreciate an easy mode and different options in playing a game, but I understand for the developer, their vision at times doesn't warrant an easy mode just because I would appreciate it. I'm one guy playing video games. Not every game should be designed for me. And if they feel like something like Ghost Player would affect their vision for a game, then they should be able to opt out of it. And also, there are a lot of developers that just feel some type of way about AI. They don't want it touching their game whatsoever, and if they're in that boat as well, okay, go that route and let them opt out of it. This should certainly be something that's more of an opt-in feature, again, if it ever does see the light of day. But that's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Again, I'm sure this is gonna be a slippery slope, and it's probably gonna sound like I'm being way too positive in it. When it comes to offering options in video games, I'm always gonna be relatively positive about that. Now, there is the argument of offering too many options will lead developers to go a certain route in creating games. Oh, these games just play themselves. They get easier and easier. And I know a lot of the Sony first-party games do have that pushback on. There are a lot of games that play themselves. But I digress. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.